Honorable Men Discord, assault by Baton. Let's talk about it. So let's get straight to it. This is not something that just recently came out. This happened, I want to say, a few days ago. This was a 2025 VHSL Indoor Track State Championship for high school runners. Okay, it was a 4 by 200 meter relay, and for those of you that don't know, it involved two females. One female was about to be passed by another female, and the female who was being passed is claiming that her baton got caught in the side of the female that was passing her, and as they're in motion, her arm raised up and she hit her behind the head. That female that was struck fell off of the track, and the female who allegedly accidentally hit the runner who was about to pass her continued running. So I had to put that out there. And let me see. Okay. All right. So my thumbnail says assault by baton. And the reason why I said assault by baton, I didn't put a question mark. Was it an accident? I didn't state a question. Was there an accident? Was it an accident? I didn't do any of that. I said assault by baton because what you're about to see, which I have queued up, is the full race, which didn't take too long before the incident occurred, which is why I have the full race. I chose not to show only the clip from the news stations because the news stations are only going to show right when the incident happened. And I believe that's how the young lady who allegedly caused the accident is trying to cry on camera and act as though it was an accident, and she would never do something like that. That's what she's saying. She would never do something like that. So here's the full race. Let's watch it together, and I'll tell you what I think of this. Here we go. Now, the importance of me playing the actual race is for you to understand things in context. This is why sometimes when you view an edited version of an event, it skews your thought on the event, right? And to see the full event in context, the girl who quote unquote accidentally struck the one who's off to the side now, she was in second place. Now it's a relay race. I'm pretty sure they had to pass it off to another set of girls, but she was pretty much second to the girl who's in the lead. And what I think happened is she was so bothered by the fact that the young lady caught up to her so fast and was about to pass her and put her in third. Her frustration caused her to do what she did. Another thing is this whole narrative of her baton getting caught in the girl's, I guess, under her arm is bizarre because if you notice it, which I'm going to put it back, her whole upper body whilst running turns to the side so she could cock back to strike her. Her body turned, which is why I'm not buying the whole her arm got caught, right? But let's bring it back a little bit. As a matter of fact, wow, unintentionally freeze that at a good point. You see how her arm cocked back right now? Let's press play on that. That was after. Yeah. Even when you look at it there, no. I'm not buying it. It's assault by a baton. I stand on my title. Let's get into the next thing I have queued up. Okay. This is the girl who was actually struck speaking on the incident, and her mother as well.
Swings her baton, striking Kaylin.
I just felt a bang on my head, and then I fell off the track immediately.
Kaylin dropping her baton and reaching for her head.
The whole Coliseum pretty much gasped. I just jumped up out of the bleachers immediately and ran to her on the main floor.
The 16-year-old was later diagnosed with a concussion. The family says neither the athlete who struck Kaylin nor the other team's coaches checked on Kaylin or reached out afterwards.
Does that sound like an accident? You hit someone with a baton, and I know batons are made of metal, but you hit someone with a baton. Was the race that important to continue? It's not like you were unaware that you hit the person. That's different. If you were unaware that you hit someone and you continued running, and they tell you after the fact, hey, back there you hit someone, then it would be like, oh. But even still, if you were unaware, the natural reaction would be to check on that person. The fact that she didn't even check on the girl, she accidentally hit her. She didn't check on her. She continued running. And as mentioned, the team, I guess the coaching staff didn't check on her. I don't know what to think about that. Definitely not sportsmanlike. But let's continue.
They kept running, and she not stop and check on my daughter. That was the part where I was like, it couldn't have been an accident.
The other runner, who attends IC Norcom High School, has not been named. Kaylin's parents say Norcom's athletic director and the girl's father apologized in a phone call, but they're still waiting for the opposing athlete and her coaches to reach out.
We definitely want the coaches.
Really? So the girl who was assaulted had enough time to sit down for Channel 7 News, and they're still waiting for a response from the coaches, from the other girl. Let's continue.
And a personal apology from the actual athlete as well, because it's only...
An apology costs you nothing. An apology. Why haven't you apologized if it was an accident? I don't care if you're being accused. Why haven't you apologized? They're still waiting for an apology from the girl who hit her. Let's continue.
It was only right.
The Virginia High School League saying in a statement, we thoroughly review every instance like this, adding the VHSL membership has always made it a priority to provide student athletes with a safe environment for competition.
And that, I'm going to end that there and move right along. Right? Whether it was intentional or not, you would have thought an apology would have already been made. Specifically from the girl who I'm about to play right now, who struck her. Forget about the coaching staff of the girl. The girl is the one that struck her, not the coaches. But the coaches are the adults that's supposed to be more professional, because this is high school track. So, and not saying that just because they're in high school, it's out of the norm for them to apologize because they're in high school. They, based on how they're raised, should know that it's the right thing to do to apologize to someone when you hurt them. But let's continue. Now, this is the girl who struck the other runner and her family speaking.
This morning, Alayla Everett, the track star at the center of that viral video showing her appearing to hit another runner in the head with the baton, is speaking out.
I would never do that on purpose. That's not in my character.
Everett says the incident is a complete misunderstanding, pointing to another angle of the race as proof.
The baton was literally, like, her arm was literally hitting the baton like this until she...
it almost seems like she was struggling to be serious for a moment. And then you got a family member like your uncle or somebody simulating the other girl. This is comedy hour. Let me see something.
Her arm was literally hitting the baton like this
She looked like
until
she went from.
she got a little ahead.
She looked like
Like
she
her arm was,
almost
Angle of the race
held
is
herself back
proof.
from
the
a
baton
chuckle.
was literally like her arm was literally hitting the baton like this until she got a little ahead and my arm got stuck like this.
In the video, Everett is seen on the inside track running the 4x200 relay at the Virginia State High School League Championships when junior Kaylin Tucker came around the outside on the corner.
That's when she hit me with the baton. I just felt a bang on my head, and then I fell off the track immediately.
Kaylin dropping her baton and reaching for her head. She was later diagnosed with a concussion.
All right, so this is the same girl again who struck the runner who caught the concussion, crying about the event. She's trying to make herself the victim now. No apology given to the other girl, but here we go.
Smith family says they're telling their side of the story in reference to a shocking incident at a Virginia High School League indoor track meet that left one athlete allegedly injured after she claimed she was struck by a baton held by IC Norcom High School senior Alayla Everett. Everett spoke exclusively to 10 on Your Side's Markeisha Jackson, who brings us much more.
The young athlete in question says there's more to that video than meets the eye.
Everybody has feelings. So you're physically hurt, but you're not thinking of my mental, right?
Alayla Everett is a decorated athlete and senior at IC Norcom.
You're physically hurt, but you're not thinking of my mental. So your mental was so damaged you couldn't even apologize to the girl? That's what you're trying to say? You're physically hurt, but you're not thinking about my mental. Let's continue. This is all comedy for me. I'm reporting this because this is a joke. All right? And it gets even more bizarre in a few. The last thing I have queued up is even more bizarre, but let's continue.
School. She would have never thought her trip to the Class 3 track and field state finals last Tuesday would take a drastic turn.
They're going off of one angle.
Alayla visibly emotional because of this video from the meet. This was a 4x200 meter relay race, and she and a Brookville High School athlete were rounding a curve on the track when they nearly collided with each other.
Okay, after a couple times hitting her, my baton got stuck behind her back like this, and it rolled up her back. I lost my balance, and when I pumped my arms again, she got hit.
It appears intentional, but Alayla says it was accidental.
But I know my intentions, and I would never hit somebody on purpose. I didn't have to see a first video, second video, 10th video. I know 100% that she won't do this to nobody.
Her parents outraged at the backlash. The IC Norcom relay.
Get them all Oscars. I mean, the mother's is crocodile tears from the mother. The father's rubbing her on the back. Like, this is such a big tragedy. In the grand scheme of things, the young lady that was assaulted got a concussion. I want to believe, for the most part, she's all right. This is not a case of someone who passed away due to a head injury. Thank God. But the amount of emotion from the assailant, the mother, the father, it's comedy hour for me. It's comedy hour.
Was disqualified, a ruling that a local USA track and field official finds questionable. He says a play-by-play look shows that the Brookville athlete was running closely to Alayla.
If a person comes up on the outside, they got to be a full stride ahead of me before they can cut in front of me.
The other family spoke with the news station in Roanoke asking for an apology from Alayla, something she wants to give, but she says the other athlete hasn't been receptive, blocking her on social media, and instead the Everett family was served with court papers.
And now we have to go to a city 3 hours away to that.
So you try to make an apology on social media, I want to know whether or not she tried to make the apology at the event. That's what I want to know. The coaching staff, did they try to make an apology at the event? That's what I want to know. I don't want to know about an apology that was attempted on social media, because at that point you waited days later or a day after or something like that. It just doesn't make any sense. But here's the thing: your parents, your family's always gonna have your back. So the mother crying, the father looking like he's all distraught, it's like whatever. At the end of the day, only their daughter knows whether or not that was intentional or not. All right, so let's continue.
Everybody hates our guts already.
They're assuming my character, calling me ghetto, racist slurs, death threats, all of this just because of a 9-second video.
VHSL says they are still reviewing the situation, and Portsmouth Public Schools says they will support whatever ruling comes from the league. Markeisha Jackson, 10 on your side.
So I do not agree with the backlash she's getting as far as the racial comments towards her or death threats. I do not condone that. But I'm just here to say that from what my eyes saw, she most definitely intentionally hit the young lady. All right, but I don't agree with the other stuff that's happening to her as far as the threats. I'm not condoning that at all. But I did mention that I have one other thing to play that I felt was bizarre. So the young lady who struck the girl, the one that was crying, her community is rallying behind her. All right. This is someone from the community. Take a listen.
It bothered me to my heart to see how the whole world was dragging this young lady. You know what I mean? Dragging her character based on what they thought they saw. And I just wanted to step up and speak out and bring unity and let this young lady know that the city of Portsmouth has her back.
I don't have anything else on this. As I mentioned, I showed the full race at the beginning, and it just seems as though she was frustrated at the fact that the girl was about to pass her. All right, because she was second to the girl who was in the lead, and I believe her competitive nature and I guess inability to be beaten caused her to strike the girl. But that's my take on it. I stand by my thumbnail, assault by baton. We'll see what happens to the young lady in regard to this. But that's all I have for you today. I mean, it's cut and dry to me. I don't know if it's cut and dry to the viewers, to you all, but that's my take on it. But as always, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.